Imagine a civilization that lasted for thousands of years, pyramids, pharaohs, incredible cosmic understanding. The ancient Egyptians, or the Kemites as they called themselves, carved their stories, their science, their dreams onto stone. They painted them inside tombs meant to last for eternity. For millennia, these hieroglyphs were a living language, a vibrant tapestry of sound and meaning. But civilizations like stars can fade. The knowledge to read these beautiful symbols was lost. The voices of the pharaohs fell silent. For nearly 2,000 years, the intricate carvings on temples and papyrus scrolls, no one on earth could hear what they were trying to say. The world changed. Empires rose and fell. The Roman Empire, the spread of Christianity, Islam all swept across Egypt. The old ways and the old language were gradually replaced. The last known hieroglyphic inscription was carved in 394 AD on the island of Philae. After that, silence. The knowledge vanished like a whisper in the desert wind. Scholars from later ages looked upon these elaborate symbols with wonder and frustration. They were clearly a form of writing, a sophisticated system of communication. But what did they mean? Were they simple pictures? Were they magic spells? Or letters in a forgotten alphabet? The secret was locked away, and the key was nowhere to be found. Generations of brilliant minds tried to unlock this puzzle. They looked for patterns, for clues, for anything that might offer a foothold. Without a translation, it was like trying to understand a message from an alien world. Many early scholars were led astray, thinking each symbol only a concept. The true nature of the script remained hidden in plain sight, waiting patiently for someone to rediscover its voice. Then, in 1799, a discovery was made that would change everything. It wasn't gold, it wasn't a pharaoh's tomb, it was a broken slab of dark stone, found near a town called Rosetta. This stone was special, an intertemporal message in a bottle. It carried the same decree written in 3 different scripts. At the top, hieroglyphs. In the middle, Demotic. At the bottom, ancient Greek. This was it. This was the key. The Rosetta Stone was a bridge across the silent centuries. The stone was a decree issued in 196 BC by priests honoring King Ptolemy V. But its form mattered more than content. The same message repeated in scripts meant Greek could unlock Egyptian. It was like having a dictionary for a lost language. But it wasn't that simple. The stone was damaged, parts of the texts were missing. Scholars still didn't know how hieroglyphs worked. Was it picture or sound? The Rosetta Stone held the answer, but it wouldn't give up its secrets easily. It was a challenge, a puzzle for the human mind. News of the stone spread like wildfire across Europe. Scholars, linguists, antiquarians, an academic race began. Thomas Young was first to make key breakthroughs, but Jean-François Champollion would cross the finish line. Obsessed with Egypt, he devoted his life, recognizing hieroglyphs as a hybrid system. He connected symbols to sounds, especially those inside a cartouche. The Rosetta Stone gave raw data. Champollion's genius revealed the grammar written on stone. With Champollion's breakthrough, the floodgates of understanding were thrown open. Suddenly, the silent walls began to speak. What were once pictures became legible words and sentences, stories. An entire civilization's literature and history came rushing back into our knowledge. Daily life, markets, pottery, tools, we could now read. We could read epic tales of battles fought by Rameses the Great. We could decipher religious texts like the Book of the Dead, guiding souls through the afterlife. We could even read letters, contracts, poetry written by ordinary Egyptians. It was like a time machine for the mind, allowing us to listen to past conversations. Decipherment revealed a complex, elegant writing system. It used a core set of about 24 signs for single consonant sounds, much like our alphabet. But it also had signs for 2 or 3 consonant combinations, and determinatives, silent symbols at word end, clarified meaning. A word for movement might end with walking legs, a person with a seated man or woman. This combination of sound signs and meaning signs made the script precise and beautiful. Today, Egyptologists can read ancient texts with a high degree of confidence. They translate legal documents, medical papyri, astronomical records. We know many words like Seba, star, Ra, sun, pet, sky. We can reconstruct family trees and trace religious ideas over millennia. Egyptian is a member of the Afro-Asiatic family, a distant relative of Hebrew, Arabic, and Berber. Comparative linguistics provides more clues to structure and vocabulary. The lost voice of the Nile was found, and it had so much to tell us about our shared human journey. But there's a catch. While we can read the words, we can't be entirely sure how they were spoken. So how do we solve the puzzle of the missing vowels? How do we give a voice back to the consonant-only script? Scholars use linguistic reconstruction, scientific detective work. The most important clue comes from a later language, Coptic, the final stage of Egyptian. Coptic is written with the Greek alphabet, with extra letters for Egyptian sounds. Because Greek includes vowels, Coptic texts show us how the language sounded. It is our closest link to authentic ancient Egyptian sounds, a fossilized sound we can work backward from. By studying Coptic, linguists chart word evolution and make educated guesses about earlier pronunciations. For example, a Coptic word with an E suggests its ancestor probably had a similar vowel. Languages change, so the process is complex, but Coptic provides a solid foundation. It's like finding a fossilized footprint and reconstructing the stride and gait of the creature. Coptic is the fossilized sound of ancient Egyptian. Another source of clues is other ancient languages, Akkadian, Hittite, Assyrian, which sometimes recorded vowels. When foreign languages recorded Egyptian names, they often included vowels, snapshots of pronunciation. For example, Tutankhamun appears in foreign records with vowels, a precious cross-reference. Scattered mentions are echoes from the past, helping us triangulate sounds. To make the language pronounceable, Egyptologists adopted a convention. Insert a short E between most consonants. So the consonants NFR are often pronounced Nefer, but the original vowel might have been A or O or U. Often we simply do not know. That's why the same pharaoh's name can be spelled differently, Ramesses, reflecting scientific debate. It's a humble admission. Parts of this ancient world remain shrouded in mystery. We're listening to a conversation from 3,000 years ago, some words still muffled. As we dig deeper into phonetics, we uncover more fascinating details. Take the sound for R, take the sound for L. In many languages, these are distinct. In ancient Egyptian, the situation was more fluid. The primary liquid consonant was R, a single flap of the tongue against the roof of the mouth, similar to the R in Karo, or a trill in some contexts. There is no standardized evidence that Egyptians regularly rolled the R like a Spanish rolled R. The L sound existed, but was rarer in early stages. It seems Egyptians didn't always distinguish the two sounds in writing. Interchangeability appears later. By later periods, L became more common and distinct, visible in hieratic and Coptic. Names sometimes swap R and L in different texts, not a mistake, but evidence of a living language in flux. This is linguistic change, shifting like sand dunes in the wind. By Coptic's time, L was established and distinct, giving us a clearer final form. We are not just translating words, we're attempting to reconstruct an entire soundscape. Researchers run spectral analysis and compare reconstructed vowels and consonants. We test the trill of an Egyptian R against later L emergence to distinguish subtle shifts. We piece together the melody of a lost language from scattered notes. Champollion gave us the lyrics. Linguists today are still working on the music. Every new piece of evidence, cuneiform or Coptic, brings us closer. So where do we stand today? The secret sounds are no longer entirely secret. We can read stories of gods and mortals, stars and science. We understand grammar, vocabulary, and broad strokes. But the precise music, exact vowels and subtle consonant shifts, remains partly an educated reconstruction. The voice of ancient Egypt is no longer silent, but it speaks to us in a whisper. We must listen very, very carefully.